Coffee with the Editor is proudly brought to you by IRZ.
Good to see you.
Thank
I
you.
think we kind of see each other twice a year, maybe 3 times a year with Heavy Haul. I've been meaning to kind of sit down with you and just get a little bit of a feedback as to what's happening at Zambia Railways and what are your upcoming projects and what kind of procurement you're going to be doing over the next 12 months.
Thank you. You are right, since we met almost a year ago. But what's happening at Zambia Railways is that we have now launched the 5-year strategic business plan. In that plan, we've highlighted the specific projects we want to carry out. And the strategic business plan is talking to $922 million, of which the 40% of that will go to the track rehabilitation. In addition to the equipment, rolling stock, which is locomotives and wagons, signal and telecom, and sustainable projects. So that covers the $922 million we're talking about. In terms of when we start implementing that, at the moment we are busy discussing various financials in order to pick up the capital injection of that amount. I may not now mention the specific financials because the discussions are underway. And the first step we are targeting is to carry out some of the feasibility studies, which will basically entail the value which will be added after that investment, how the financial will get back its money. So those feasibility studies will be able to highlight the details to that $992 million.
So apart from the rehabilitation of your current line or the maintenance of your current line, what other extensions are you guys, or new track, are you looking at?
The 922 is referring to the existing railway infrastructure. However, we have got various Greenfield projects going on in the country, and they are at various stages. Some of them are at feasibility stages. For example, there are plans in the country to link a place on Tazara Kasama to Mpulungu Lake, which basically links Zambia to the Great East countries and Eastern Congo. The study has been done, and I think they are about to conclude the comments on those studies. There is a plan to connect Katete to Serenge on Tazara. That basically connects Nakara Port to Zambia, the Copper Belt, and that becomes the shortest route to Zambia by rail.
Oh, wow.
And it connects the deepest port in Africa. So that project has been done, and I think they are discussing the issue of the timing for construction. That's a Greenfield construction. There are plans also to connect Kafue into Lions Den in Zimbabwe, near Harare. That project brings Zambia shorter to any port by 1,000 kilometers. So that is a game changer study. The study has started, and that's being handled between Zambia and Zimbabwe.
Okay.
And we hope that that project will really make Durban 1,000 kilometers shorter to Zambia, Beira 1,000 kilometers shorter to Zambia, Maputo, all these Indian Ocean ports will technically be almost 1,000 kilometers shorter. That changes the cost of doing business in Zambia in terms of logistics. So that's the game changer project we're doing. There's also a project which is trying to link Copper Belt to Angola, through direct to Angola up to Bobito Port.
Okay.
So that project is also being studied, and those are Greenfield projects. At the moment, some of them are being handled at bilateral between the two governments, but once they are operational, those definitely will come to Zambia Railways as an operator for those rail links, yes.
And your vision over the next 12 months, aside from the recapitalization, which I think is what you would call it,
Yes, yeah.
outside of that, so what else?
On what we are trying to do, as you are aware, there is a registration in Zambia, which basically registrates that bulk heavy commodities to the tune of 30% must move from road to rail.
Yes.
We are busy working on that. In the past 10, 11 months, we had some results over that.
Yes.
We have seen the increase of tonnage related to that registration to the tune of 25% in tonnage.
Okay.
We have seen the revenue increase to the tune of 22% in revenue. So we hope that we shall pursue that during the next 12 months and see whether we can go beyond the percentage we are talking about today in terms of how much we are moving. We've actually moved from road to rail, and how far can we go?
Yes.
So that really occupies us for the next 12 months. So the next 12 months, we want to increase tonnage business through that registration. And at the end of the day, we want that registration not to be a law, law enforcement only, but to make us competitive and efficient so that the growth will be based on commerce rather than on the registration.
In terms of staffing and the likes, like, your key staff and your key team, I mean, how big is that now?
Permanent people, about 1,000 employees, plus other indirect employees through the contractor. We're talking about 1,300,
Okay.
of which 1,000 is our own employees. The number looks a bit on the higher side, and that's why we are trying to see whether we can increase the revenue earning so that the production per capita can increase.
Yes.
Our target is to have an employee producing about 1,000 metric ton,
Okay.
and that will really make the break-even work well. So one way of doing it is to increase the business so that the denominator of labor figures can increase.
So you're talking about all the positive stuff now, but I know that you guys have had some serious challenges, both in rolling stock and in infrastructure. How have you managed that?
Railways were always in the challenge world, as you were saying.
Yeah.
When we embarked on trying to increase the tonnage from road to rail, one of the experience we saw immediately after doing studies was that we didn't have adequate capacity in terms of locomotives and wagons. In terms of locomotives, and we quickly decided that we need a very immediate solution to that. So we've gone into some arrangements where we've hired up to 14 locomotives from South Africa,
Okay.
Transnet or TFR. So far, 6 of those 14 are already in Zambia and running.
Okay.
We've also hired up to 6 locomotives from a private operator in South Africa, of which 4 of those, 2 are already running, 2 are on the way to Zambia. So in the as immediate solution, we have gone into collaboration with our neighboring railroad and hired that equipment. That's not a permanent structure. That's not a permanent solution. The permanent solution lies in that 922 million, where we've accommodated 40 locomotives new to be procured under that program, and about 2,000 wagons to be accommodated under that wagon. We've also gone to identify that the type of wagons we need now is not only general wagons like open wagons. We need specialized wagons. The demand in the market now are looking for more covered wagons, more flats, more container movement, and those are the wagons we're trying to focus on and see whether we can improve the mixture of the wagon holding in the company so that we can respond to the growing demand of specialized wagons.
What's the axle load on your line?
We are doing 16, 18. So we are loading a wagon in 45 to 50, depending on the commodity.
When do you envisage the procurement to start, or the engagement to start in relation to locomotives and wagons?
We are already making preparation in both equipment, studies, so we are already dealing with the terms of reference for those activities.
All right.
We are already testing the market in terms of looking at the latest design of locomotive and wagons and whatever. So that preparation is going on in the background.
Okay.
So once that's done, we don't want that administrative to delay us. So we're already preparing the project profiles. We're already preparing the new design so that we can accommodate new technology. What we have are 40, 50 years old locomotives. What is in there is old technology. So on the new procurement, we're already shopping around in terms of technology. We're already consulting in terms of specifications and in terms of the benchmarking in those commodities. That activity is going on internally by Zambia Railways. In terms of feasibility studies, we are also working on the terms of reference for that. And as I said, we are discussing with the financiers who are willing to finance the initial feasibility study costings before we even move into the physical project injection.